I gotta do the whole spiel again, because for the YouTubers, you can't put a false start on YouTube. You'll be dead in the water. I gotta do it again. All right, Red Alert 2 World Series action coming at you guys. Take two. For those of you guys catching it live, we've had a couple legs, but here we are. We're getting it going. Red Alert 2 World Series show match here today. A couple of the best players in the world. We got LATOF, the Deso King in red, out of Kuwait on the left side. And we got Legend, God of Thunder in yellow out of Jordan on the right side. So this is regular Red Alert 2, best of 9, show match here, $40 going to the winner. And I'm excited. We got LATOF back in here. We haven't seen him for a while. Always fun to watch him play. And of course, if anyone can put up points against LATOF, it's going to be Legend. So it should be a pretty good series here. Both these guys, man, traditional Red Alert 2, this is really the game in its rawest form. And, at the competitive level we've talked about before, this is the game mode where, the game is most highly played at the competitive level. It's the Chinese community, which actually has more players than the rest of the world combined, exclusively plays Red Alert 2 essentially. So, cue someone in the chat saying, some of the players in China play Yuri's Revenge. I know some of the players in China plays Yuri's Revenge. Some of the players in China play Red Alert 3. Most of the competitive community in China does play regular Red Alert 2. So that's where we are today, playing the game in its raw, true form. Over here on Pinch Point, this is an interesting map, all these trees in the middle. I like it, though. I like it. You got the top, you got the bottom. Start right on some early gems, kickstart that economy. Both players do get an airport. In this series, both players will be picking their own factions as well. FCEU, I feel like I normally use Worms rules. For these guys. You think FCEU will be better? I have to try that out. So, yeah, what do we got going on? We got a split second here while we watch Drone Wars. I spent 5 hours last night using an AI, artificial intelligence video maker to remake the entire 4-minute trailer for Red Alert 2, frame by frame. Now, you guys are thinking, oh, Ivor, that sounds easy. You just throw the video in the AI machine and it shoots out a video. Wrong. You have to go frame by frame. I went frame by frame to individually make the entire 4-minute trailer. We're playing it after this show match. You guys are going to catch it live. YouTubers, I'll post the video sometime. See, we got a Trojan horse. We got to trick people into getting over here. If you just say pro game, a lot of guys are like, pro, who cares? I don't watch that game anymore. But if you show them a cool trailer, they're like, damn, this trailer's cool. Then they come watch the pro game, they become a player, they become a pro player, they take down Marco. That's the chain of events. All right, nice little base stretch here from Legend, almost identical here from LATOF. Do see Legend pushing in a little bit here. LATOF sentry gun to match, both players out with fodder, pretty even here. Not much of an advantage for Legend to work with. This map's interesting because the attacker is going to have the higher ground advantage when going into the main part of the base here. You can take advantage of those ramps. The elevation makes a big difference in even situations. Legend brings a 2-tank split to the top side. LATOF matches nicely. And LATOF with a few sentry guns here, playing nice defense. Yeah, so you see the stretch from both players to get on there, get on that second gem patch. You guys, you players who are trying to get into regular Red Alert 2, switching over from Blitz, it's all about the ore, all about the gems, all about that base stretch. Efficient mining is everything here. So now we do see a little bit of split here from LATOF on the backside, Legend matching. So Legend's out tanking on the bottom side, LATOF out tanking on the top side. Let's see if either player can extract value from here. You see both these players, it's interesting when you see top level players like this playing just a bit, conservative, right? Like they're not doing anything reckless, and it really just shows the respect they have in their opponent. Like both these guys know that it's a razor thin margin to win or lose a game like this. You make one misclick, one miscalculation, the other player is going to expose it and make you pay for it. And you see both these guys just being a little bit more conservative, versus if you're playing a player that's 10% worse than you feel like you can take a bite, you can take a chance, and even if you mess up, you can still maybe recover. But both these guys know that, as soon as they leave a gap in their armor, the other player's going to expose it. So now we do see a little high-low action here. The conscripts on the backside get cleaned up by the miners. So now LATOF moves down into the pit. Legend's there. Legend's tank's a bit strung out. Hard to say in the trees who's going to come out of the mosh here, but yeah, LATOF going to reinforce that position. So LATOF brings the rest of his tanks in. Legend's tanks on a smoke break topside, so Legend loses that entire group. LATOF able to reinforce that position, and Legend, you know, Legend could have tried to reinforce, or he could have tried to counter punch, but the counter punch coming a little bit slow here. Both players moving their MCVs as we get into a base trade situation. Legend's over to drones, LATOF's over to drones and Desos. Both players have ran with their MCVs almost identically. What an incredibly mirrored match, but of course that engagement in the middle came out way in LATOF's favor. Legend gets LATOF's MCV. Legend's MCV is still on the run. LATOF's looking for it. LATOF with a lot of uncontested tanks. Drones come out here. LATOF, of course, the Deso King out with those Desolators. Now Legend's gonna come back and try to hold. The MCV's still hiding. Legend still has the MCV. But Legend's tanks again get strung out. But between Legend's tanks and his drones, he's gonna be able to take out LATOF's army here, and he's gonna come out of this with an MCV. And oh, LATOF doesn't have any production. LATOF doesn't have any production. Well played from Legend. What an interesting base trade. LATOF had more tanks going into that, but Legend just played the base trade better, right? Better use of the drones, better hiding of the MCV. Everyone's been asking me, they say, what does Big Bog mean? Every time Root goes live on Twitch, his stream title says Big Bog. And every single time I read it, and I'm like, I think I know what that means. And then I realize I do not know what that means. It means bog is big. Many meanings. It's Kimplicated. Kimplicated? Oh my gosh, I thought you had another new word. I'm like, wait, Kimplicated should be a word. Kimplicated is a cool word. We're making up words. Nomenclature. The art of making up words. Love it. All right, guys, over to point number 2. And a wacky first one. Those base trades. What do you guys think about that? I suppose LATOF, after winning that engagement in the middle, maybe he shouldn't have gone for the base trade. He maybe shouldn't have gone for the base trade, but I guess he thought he had the... Yeah, anyway, it was a very, very close one. It's fun to see those guys, the way they both ran with the MCVs. He ran with the MCVs, pumped the drones, LATOF with the Desos, so close. Best of 9, the show goes on though. All right, so now drone, yeah, so the early drone action here. So a quick reminder for you guys, any of you guys who do want to join the fun, you guys know by now. Does anyone not know about redalert2.com? Redalert2.com, you can learn how to download, set up the game. You can sign up for the tournaments. You can join the Discord to ask questions, post memes, talk shit, stay up on the latest drama, all that stuff over in the Discord. One drone does get in for Mr. Legend, the service depot right there. And see if you can repay the favor. The early drones. And he gets it in, coming right out of the war factories. Is a great time to get a miner, but the service depot on the way. We've talked about that before. You know, it used to be more of a reactive thing. You know, if you get droned, you'll build a service depot. Now the players, essentially, in Red Alert 2 especially, because it's so hard to counter the drones, the service depot is just built into your build. You're just building a service depot. You saw how it came out right away. It wasn't a reactive thing. It was proactive. But again, guys, yeah, we're always looking for more players. This month, I think we got, how many players we have in I think Division 5 for Blitz, the brand new players, returning players who haven't played in years. We've got about 15 players in that group. So I know so many players are like, I can't come play with these guys. Of course you can't, but you can come play with the newbies and it's still fun. So we do have events for new players every month. Last week of each month, you can sign up for the tournaments. First day of each month, we start the tournament. Okay, Paradrop here, going to try to pick on that power plant. Pretty good target. It is so crazy the difference between a GI Paradrop and a conscript Paradrop. And I think, you know, oftentimes at the lower levels, a conscript Paradrop, it's just something to be thrown downfield. Nothing ever happens. It's fun to watch these top level guys try to get value out of it. And again, almost identical builds here. You see these guys both with that power plant and both with the Paradrop to harass the power plant. Very, very similar builds here. 3 refineries, those 2 conscripts. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 miners to 4, 7, 8 miners, about even. 4 and 9 miners, yeah, maybe. Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, pretty similar here. Yeah, we talked about that before. You guys know with some of the events I've tried to run before with the new maps, things like that. You know, where we got blind maps or new maps or mixed factions. That's when you get players playing things differently. These maps, though, if you play traditional Red Alert 2, you let the players pick the maps. Well, it's like watching chess with a 2-hour clock instead of a 1-minute clock. All right, first engagement here. Both players have fodder, both players have tanks, and they're trusting their tank control here. I do see Legend's tank shooting a dog for a second, but I think Legend has a tank advantage, and of course, that's the advantage of fighting closer to home. Your reinforcements are going to be there quicker. LATOF now pulling out. He actually had a couple more tanks to help in that position, though. LATOF does pull back, though. Yeah, but so you watch 1-minute chess, right? Anything can happen, crazy stuff. You watch 2-hour chess, it's the bona fide metas, the bona fide openings. And that's what you're going to see on a map like this with players like this. That's why we're seeing such an even game. And there's something to be said for that. If you guys watch like chess commentary, it's always like, okay, this opening, this defense, standard, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, and as of move 37, we now have a completely new game. Maybe the double paradrop was exactly what we needed for a new game. Paradrop to defend 2 sentries to defend that expansion. LATOF not building off his airport yet, so a little bit different here as Legend has some production up there, probably a refinery coming here shortly. Conscripts coming to defend. But yeah, so I think the early game you see standard stuff, but then eventually, every game at some point does diverge and split off into a very, very unique situation. It's just that, the early part of the game. I used to not respect this as much. I used to kind of get a little bit bored, but now it's fun to see, and you start to appreciate even the kind of the minor differences. How a little bit closer the refinery is, how many, going for microing your miners to tell them exactly where to go, little things like that, because it does make a difference, particularly Soviet versus Soviet, where, tank for tank, little advantages make a difference. All right, so LATOF is out with a radar now. All right, so we do have a little high-low action again. Paradrop. Oh, that paradrop sneaks behind enemy lines. Now Legend's right there with the sentry gun. LATOF's going to come over. I think he's going to get a miner here. Legend might be dealing. Legend was dealing with that paradrop. And look at that nice. That was a perfectly executed play there from LATOF. He threw the paradrop. As soon as Legend went to go put that sentry gun, LATOF hopped in, grabbed that miner, and now. Oh, he brings, and LATOF able to perfectly pinch out this attack and then zone out the bottom section of Legend's army. So pinches, he brings his bottom and top army to pinch Legend's top army, the Desolators to zone out. Another expertly executed maneuver there from the Deso King. And yeah, very, very, very well played. And I think Legend's got to be hoping for another base trade. Another miner going to go down. And LATOF now on the bottom side, yeah, way out tanking. Oof, yeah, that was yeah, just just outplayed. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. A couple people in the chat saying, yin yang, the Deso camping can be strong. Desos can be strong in general. Of course, LATOF, that's one of LATOF's strong suits. But what was interesting, that was Legend's map pick. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the idea. You got to think. I mean, the idea of loser picks is, well, meant to create. More competitive situations. Of course, it gives a slight advantage to the losing player, which is a nice kind of mild catch-up mechanic in the series. But yeah, that was Legend's map pick. This is Legend's map pick as well over in Golden State Valley. So both players going to run those engineers to the oils. This map a little bit more open. I'm not sure. I mean, that last... Man, that was I'm gonna have to go rewatch that point a couple times. There's a couple really, really beautiful things there. I love that pinch with the Deso zone out on the bottom, and of course that little paradrop sneaking in and grabbing a miner. Those little things like that. They add up really, 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 really quickly as you move into the mid game here. So we'll see what Legend can do. What's the strat? Legend. I mean, of course, Legend's the kind of player. He can go toe to toe. He can play LATOF's game. He can try to just outplay LATOF in the traditional Rhino Wars. I don't know. Is it viable? Maybe does Legend have a wild card up his sleeve? Does he have some tricks? If this was Yuri's Revenge, if Legend was getting down on ships, of course, he'd be bringing engineers and things like that. Yuri's Revenge, obviously has kind of some more wacky stuff like that to use to throw off your opponent. In Red Alert 2, in Quick Match, there is no, so we play the Quick Match rules. There is no engineering. So it makes you, kind of forces you to play that Rhino versus Rhino style. Both players off their expansions here. Again, almost identical builds from the players. Service depots out to deal with those drones. Nothing too crazy. Gene saying that we're going to be seeing the MCV sell. Yeah, it is interesting. Red Alert 2, you will see that a little bit more. Of course, we talked about it before, but the Red Alert 2 build speeds of the units, things like that, it does incentivize kind of tier 1 style gameplay versus Yuri's Revenge, where you often see players getting over to Battle Lab tech, incentivizes the build up. In Red Alert 2, though, because you're oftentimes just playing rhinos and dogs, there is situations on some maps where the MCV is not, you don't even need it anymore. You can you just get the war factories you need, get a few war factories, get your refineries, sell the MCV and go for broke. And I think that is actually, I actually have started favoring Red Alert 2 a little bit over Yuri's Revenge. I know a lot of players say you see less units, but I'd rather see less units, but more kind of tactical. Like just watching what players do with rhinos and dogs, obviously is an art in itself. And then, but of course, Red Alert 2 AVS, Allied versus Soviet. That's what I really love seeing. Just really hard. There's not that many hard to get top level Allied players in Red Alert 2. But watching a good Red Alert 2 series AVS, man, that's where I'm most at home. It's a little bit tricky right now. A couple of these top guys, Kian and LATOF, both won't do mixed faction series. So that kind of limits our numbers. It's like Marco and Legend are like the only kind of two in the top players who will do it. Quas is pretty bona fide in Soviet as well. All right, so a little bit of staring contest here. Radar for LATOF, MCV move from LATOF. Legend again gonna go no Desolators. And a little, oh, now a radar. And if Legend brings his MCV move, okay, that MCV goes AFK, that's nice. Desolators now. Desolators to the front lines. Oh, and he does sneak that miner in the 4-minute mark. That miner was waiting. That miner had patience, man. That's a little bit annoying, you know, this late to get mined, because then obviously the service depot is definitely not in his build. So he does dump. Okay, he's gonna get over. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, boys. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, so Desolate. Okay, so now here we go. Big open field here. And look at how even this is again. Desolators and Rhinos perfectly matched. You love to see it. You love to see it. Again, and look at the split now. So now the split. So LATOF brings a split. He's got enough tanks here to not worry about the split. I mean, he's to split comfortably and not get heavily outgunned on the top side. See, this zone is pretty big. Oftentimes the idea is to split off and then zone out with the Desolators, but Desolators can't fully zone out this middle lane. So Legend hops to the top side. I like this aggression from Legend. I don't think he can really get on his heels versus LATOF. I don't think that's going to work. He's going to get a refinery here and get out fairly unscathed. LATOF preparing the counterpunch bottom side. And Legend loses some tank. Legend's okay, so that's good value. So now Legend pretty heavily out tanked here. He's going to shift his middle zone to reinforce that bottom. Legend, ooh, but Legend leaves the middle lane open. Desolators only to defend. Wow, and this is... That's one of those games you're glad you're not playing, as we're in all three sections right now. These guys really flexing their ability to play multiple groups on multiple parts of the map, and it'll just come down to the first player to make a mistake here. Legend, oh, Legend, the Desolators from LATOF could swing things though. So LATOF out tanking on the bottom, Legend out tanking in the middle lane, but those Desos get a huge hit. Those Desos put a lot of chip damage on Legend's middle lane army as LATOF pushes through on the bottom, grabs one miner, tanks going down, Legend runs with the other miner. Legend went out with a drone to deal with those Desos. Uh-oh. So Legend did sell that MCV already, but he is going to completely lose that expansion, including his radar, which means no more Desolators. So Legend going to send it down the gut here. I think that's pretty much all he can do. Now, Legend's drone is critical here. He only has this one drone, and he really needs to deal with the Desolators, which he did not do. Now on the backside, Legend has a Desolator there, but Legend not switching to drones a bit questionable. I think Legend needs to be over to drones on the back end. And LATOF just starts amputating, selling off all of his buildings, kickstart the economy a little bit. Oh my gosh, this volley is huge. Very, very similar. Yeah, it's like, yeah, the problem was LATOF still had an attacking army on the backside. If Legend... Tough. I mean, LATOF, that's one of those ones where you're kind of like, LATOF's ahead every little, like a little bit every single time, and then it ends up being a lot. Maybe Legend could have gotten over to drones. Yeah, those when you go for the full push, right, whether it's a base trade or just a full send attack, how quickly you are able to shift, right click your Rhino queue. It's funny how many new players say, they say, oh, it's so hard to, I hate having to right click so many times. So if you have like 30 rhinos, if you try to just right click, you have to right click 30 times to cancel them all. You can shift right click, cancel your Rhino queue, rack up 30 drones, shift right click your dogs if you're building those, rack up 30 desos, and then, you know, deal with that on the back end, even doing nothing else. But how quickly you can do that, not only how quickly you can do it, but how the foresight to do it early enough, right? So many players, like, you know, when I go for a base trade, as soon as my base is about gone, I'm like, oh, I should get some drones. But often, you know, you'll see those players who are able to do that. And of course, in the first point that Legend won, he was over to drones very, very early. You know, if you can have a handful of drones as the tanks come in, if you start pumping drones when the tanks are already in your base, you know, the drones take a little bit of time to destroy the tanks. It's not even really going to work. Multiple drones out now for LATOF, Legend. So Tour of Egypt, the Red Alert 2 version has grass, and what an incredible ecosystem anomaly here to have this desert turn into a fertile patch of grass. You look at the farmland. Look, there's even farms here now, which is kind of incredible because there's really no water. I guess there's a little lake here. These people are swimming. I'm not sure how they got there. People swimming on the top side as well. So there's some water. I guess they could have irrigated and turned this massive desert into a fertile oasis. Who knows? Who knows? All right, so early MCV move here from Legend. All right, Legend's got to get on his toes, man. I feel like he's playing on his heels. He's playing on his heels a little bit. He's just a little bit behind. It's 2-1 now. Oh, they chronoed up there. Right. They chronoed up there. Yeah, it's 2-1. I feel like it's a best of 9. I mean, Legend could certainly still be getting warmed up. You know, that's certainly the case in a best of 9, but I feel like Legend's got to try to bring the fight to LATOF. I don't know, it's scary, right? I mean, bringing the fight to LATOF doesn't sound like a great idea. Sitting on your toes doesn't sound like a great idea. Which one is a less bad idea is kind of the question here. Legend pushing across the 50 here, though. Legend going broke for a second, but he sells off a refinery. Just economy looking pretty good here. This build's better for Legend. Legend's on those, yes, because you see LATOF, well, now LATOF on the gems. Fairly similar, but Legend possibly with a slight little bit of an advantage here. I really like these features. I really like the way these cliffs play. I'd like to implement these in a blitz map somehow, like smaller middle cliffs that you go up. Just so hard in blitz, the snipers can get really, really annoying with higher ground. All right, so Legend pushing in, sentry gun from LATOF, and these miners in this push, the miners will actually act as fodder, even tanks, even fodder like that, especially in a low body situation. A couple miners actually give a decent defensive advantage. Obviously, you don't really want to use your miners as meat shields, but it will deter an attacker a little bit there if they're not more heavily outgunned. So now we're gonna see, all right, Legend. Blood in the water. Come on, God of Thunder. Are you hungry, buddy? Are you hungry? Do you want it more than the other guy? That's the question right now. That is the question. Both the constantly having to service depot and watch for drones is so funny. Just like one more layer for these guys to add. It's funny at the top level. You know, the drones early game, they're bored. If you said no droning early game, the pros, their builds, they can do their build with 2 fingers, their early builds. So without the drones, it's like they'd be sitting around. Legend would be smoking cigarettes. Legend's probably smoking a cigarette anyway, let's be honest. Those 2 conscripts on the cliff, super OP. Super, super, super OP. Forward radar now, refinery. All right, so Desolators in the game now. Now the Desolators on this map, definitely some tight choke points, and we've seen Legend struggle a little bit. Not only Legend struggling to counter LATOF's Desos, but also Legend struggling a little bit to match the Desos. When you get into a Deso Rhino game versus a Rhino Dog game, it's different, right? And you can't really not match your opponent's Desos because you're not going to have any dogs. They're going to have Desos. They're just going to have an advantage. So once one player starts doing the Deso style, you really need to match it. And a couple people in the chat mentioning that Legend's Deso game behind. It's not as good as LATOF's. Of course, Legend's Thunder game better than LATOF's, but not as particularly relevant. Carpe Diem with the follow, my guy. Thank you very much.
Comrade John says.
The Chinese player is just destroying gems. Yeah, that's hilarious. So you actually can control shoot. You can control shoot your enemy ore and gems to destroy them. Gems, of course, don't regrow. Pretty funny tactic here. But again, very similar builds, both players MCVs now to get up on the cliff. And if you guys who don't know, like these maps, like this map's pretty symmetrical. But if you're wondering, like, how can they both be so similar? The maps are designed like this. Like even if the map doesn't, well, this map looks pretty symmetrical, but even on most maps like the gem patches and stuff, even if they seem different, it's always gonna be a fairly similar build because competitive players will complain if it's like bottom left has to build an extra war factory to get to a gem patch. The map makers will adjust them. So you see these metas, it kind of goes both ways. Like the meta's made for the map and the map is made for the meta. Now over to tech now for LATOF Legend, putting himself broke here. Both players bringing Desos into the choke points. Both players have pretty good working economies right now. But again, Legend's just kind of a day late and a dollar short, right? Legend, I feel like, is doing everything LATOF's doing, but a bit slower as the super weapons come out. So the Iron Curtain now for LATOF. Oh, Legend. Okay, Legend gets a Kirov out. All right, so now Legend, now we see a slight deviation in the shared meta as the Kirov comes out. I'd love to see a Deso right here. Love to see a Deso right there. Can radiate up that cliff. Maybe try to support that Kirov a little bit. Be good for that Kirov to get something done. Legend preparing a two-way split. Little top, little bottom. That Kirov could be shooting right now. Kirovs can shoot while moving. Diving 4 tanks on a miner. Not a great idea, not a terrible idea. If it's the only Deso in a zone, it's going to open something up, maybe. Kirov now from LATOF over. So now Legend's turn to build flak tracks. Significant Iron Curtain advantage here for LATOF. Likely what's going to blow a hole in this game. Both players refusing to use that middle lane. That's where the Desos were focused early on. So both players high, low, high, low. Legend retreating from the bottom side. Now a big engagement on the top side. Kirov coming over. Legend's flak tracks are way out of position. He does have a little bit of time. So LATOF uses the Iron Curtain. Legend gets through on the top side, but I think he's in trouble. Ooh, and Legends gets his tanks a little bit cornered against those IC tanks. Legend gonna lose his tanks top side. Legend ultimately does pull ahead bottom right. Has to sell off a nuclear reactor, but has another one built right behind it. The Kirov goes AFK, which gives Legend time to get his flak tracks over. That Kirov probably should have stayed on the move. Those flak tracks were a little bit out of position. All right, and Legend's tanks in a line of death coming over that radiation. Now in a straight line. Iron Curtain on the front side only gets about 4 out of his tanks. Could still be enough though. Legend now going to split off. And the Kirov still AFK as Legend splits off, and LATOF now uncontested here. The Iron Curtain, Legend does take it home. Yeah, very, very well played. All right, guys, now over to point number 5. Yeah, so, you know, the Iron, when you get to that point in the game, right, the Kirov can maybe blow something open, but at the top level, I feel like the flaks, I mean, you're usually going to counter it, but it's oftentimes what you can play off of with the Kirov. You know, the opponent switching over to flak tracks maybe throws you off. Maybe you can support the Kirov, take out their flak tracks. But the Kirovs were kind of nullified, didn't really do much for either player. But then it came down to the Iron Curtains. So LATOF going down to that bottom side. LATOF wanted to go at Legend's army. Legend did a good job staying in the open field, moving his army around, keeping his army alive, and then all LATOF got out of it was a nuclear reactor, and Legend had another nuclear reactor right behind it. So really didn't get much value. Of course, Legend's Iron Curtain going right down the gut, got the Iron Curtain, split off the tanks. Legend was already quite a bit up on tanks there, though. You have to go rewatch that one. That's how it is in those games, man. They're like, it goes like you're just watching 2 players play SimCity, and you're like, okay, everything seems, oh my God, and then it's over. So I'm a big fan of this map. 3 starting oils. I'm a big fan of that early action. Kickstart the economy. Keep things nice and close and tight. Close quarter combat style maps. I actually want to do an event. I actually want to do an event with the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse: Kian, LATOF, Marco, and Legend. Just like a 4 top pro player, but a tournament where we just do small maps. Just kind of see who's the close quarter combat champion. I'd like to have Quas in that group as well, but Quas is, you never really know when. He only comes out when the full moon rises, so you never really know where Quas is. Hard to schedule with him. I have a couple new chatters in here. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Yeah, we do stream. We have a monthly tournament. We run pro games here constantly. Red Alert 2. I know you're thinking people still play this. They do. We also have events for new players every month. Events for new players, cash prizes, lots of fun. RedAlert2.com. You can download the game, get things set up. I highly recommend it. And as we do a quick lull in the action, we'll do a quick shout out. Quick shout out to Mud Farm. This event is sponsored by Mud Farm in memory of his friend Bane. I was a big fan of Red Alert 2. He wanted to put something together, get some Red Alert 2 action going. So Mud Farm made some nice, generous donations. We're going to be getting a few events here in memory of Bane. Some show matches like this, some mini tournaments as well. I want to get a 2v2 going next month. So big shout out to Mud Farm. Big shout out to Mud Farm. Yeah, it's all the money that comes in around here. It's all. We don't make any money. All the money that comes into the stream does go back to helping me make more content. So always appreciate those generous people who help make that happen. Legend trying to take a bite on the bottom side, not going to make it happen. Both players now stretching towards the middle. The gems here in the middle, the big incentive. And in this middle control, tactical advantage as well, having your production holding the middle. But of course, getting on these early gems is huge as well. Again, both players with their conscript paradrops. And we did see in that one game, right? They were doing nothing, and then the one did pull Legend's attention, and LATOF was able to get some value out of it. LATOF now over to the radar. We're going to see the Deso game once again. Desolators, conscripts, desolators, conscripts. Okay, the paradrop to counter. Radar now for Legend. That radar does put him low power. You can see the radar not spinning. Nice Deso hit from LATOF. As soon as LATOF's tanks turn and run, you should also turn and run, because that's when you know that Deso deploy is going to come. And it's difficult to appreciate, but an army, let's see. Okay, not too bad. Legend didn't take much there. But even these little, like, it's interesting, the health bars, because as soon as you lose enough to make it one less tank shell to destroy you, right? That's a significant advantage. Little things like that make a big difference. Both players continuing to throw conscripts at each other. I'm liking in Blitz now. I feel like conscripts are the new meta. Conscripts have been getting so much value in Blitz lately, but it just doesn't really transfer over to Red Alert 2, apparently. Okay, LATOF gonna hop bottom side. Doesn't even go for the airport, because of course. Let your opponent keep their airport. The time it takes them to drop the paradrop actually works against them. As I say that, let's go! Let's go! The conscripts get the battle lab! The conscripts, they heard me talking shit, and they went on a mission. Now what? They're pulling back to the trees. Guerrilla warfare. They're gonna go for the oil. Now they're getting cocky. If the conscripts get the oil, LATOF wins the series. I'm ending the stream. Oh my god, the conscripts got the oil. The conscripts pick up a casual 2-pack. There's an elite. Send this guy home, dude. That guy just did so much for you. Don't let him die. Send that guy home. He earned it. LATOF over to Battle Lab Tech. Iron Curtain out now. And Legend, that Battle Lab hit, difficult to appreciate how much value that is. Of course, the oil's nice as well. No, and Legend takes it personally. He sends his conscripts into the trees. Look at this guy. The one elite conscript. He's going to take out that whole group. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Oh my god, that is freaking hilarious. Yeah, that Battle Lab push probably canceled out Legend's Iron Curtain or his nuclear reactor, whatever the case. It's definitely going to slow down his switch over to tech. Difficult to appreciate just how valuable that is. Oh, he juices back up. The elite conscript, he takes a couple hits, he takes a couple shots, doesn't even matter. Rips off his shirt, ties up the bullet wounds, he's back to full health. LATOF taking a bite on the bottom side, forces a couple cells. Legend now amputating. Legend, yeah, a little bit scratching his head here, and at the end of the day, remember, the MVP of this game was that elite conscript who is still alive in the trees. So many Desolators to gum up this lane. You know Legend's looking to get into a base trade situation here, more than likely. Iron Curtain coming. Now, we did see a similar play in the TOE map on the last one, right? Fairly similar situation. LATOF was ahead on tech. Legend was able to get more value out of his Iron Curtain. Legend's tanks now in a string of death. A couple of them going through the middle here. Oh, they're going to get completely crushed. Drones now, and LATOF preparing the drones. So the 2 games LATOF's lost, he's attacked and then got counterpunched. So this time he ICs the drones. Legend's entire army is about to get wrecked. But that means LATOF's not going to use an offensive Iron Curtain. Legend out now with his own drones. Oh my god, Legend's army just got ravaged. Oh my god, the conscripts. Now wait, the elite conscript now has a group of friends. He's back for the Iron Curtain. He's back for the Iron Curtain. He's hungry. Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. I cannot handle this conscript. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get another battle lap. Oh my god, that is awesome. That is awesome. He goes back to the trees, calls in another paradrop, and they're like, dude, we can't send you another paradrop. You guys are useless. He's like, I just got an oil and a battle lab. They're like, oh shit, really? They send another paradrop to reinforce. He goes back in, picks up an IC and a battle lab. All right, guys, over to point number 6. Point number 6. So again, Sov versus Sov, obviously the theme of the day. Very, very unlikely to see a deviation here. LATOF not going to play something else, and Legend kind of needs force to match. Now, you know what's interesting to note? Can we all just take a minute and talk about LATOF's Yuri elo? So LATOF will tell you that he's only a Soviet player. Of course, in Blitz, he plays Soviet and Allied. He's one of the highest rated in both, but traditional, very, very different. LATOF has an incredibly high Yuri elo, one of the highest in the world. And he doesn't really talk about playing Yuri's Revenge, doesn't really talk about his Yuri. But yeah, I was looking at the elo rankings, and he has an incredibly high rated Yuri. So we're gonna get a show match out of LATOF. We're gonna get a mixed faction show match out of LATOF eventually. I want to see him flex his Yuri a little bit. I want to see it in action. Yeah, RA2 players. Hey, that's where we are, man. You found us. We're all here, man. This is where all our RA2 players are. This is where we hang out. So, okay, this series feels a little weird, right? It's 3-2 right now. I feel like LATOF is way ahead. Alpha with the biddies. My guy. Appreciate it. Again, guys, all that money that comes in does go back to the channel, back into the pot. Helps me make more content. It's getting a little tricky now. It's getting a little tricky. Now that we do Blitz. When I was just doing Blitz, the money, we usually get about $500 a month. That was great. Now it's spread between Blitz, Yuri's Revenge, and Red Alert 2. It's a little tricky. The prizes just get to spread a little thin. I think especially the pros, like our pro final and stuff, gets a little bit thin. But once we have the Red Bull sponsorship, once Red Bull gives me $1 million, then we'll solve all of our problems. CNCnet, all the CNCnet developers will be on salary. All the top pros will be on salary. It'll be a beautiful day. Beautiful day. But Mud Farm, like I said, Mud Farm, in memory of his friend Bane, has given some nice donations lately. Definitely helps keep some fuel in the rocket. The thing is, in the lower levels, most of the guys would play for free. Let's be honest. The lower level guys, the top level guys, the hype, it is kind of directly correlated to money, unfortunately. It is a little bit correlated to money, especially if you wanted to do something weird. Like if you're like, hey, BO9, regular maps, regular format, sure, they don't really care. But if you want people to play like weird maps or weird factions, you gotta get some money. Icy for life, my guy. Thanks for the follow.
Hello, my friends.
Yeah, and that's what kind of changes as well. Is that you have players where like some money, like the money means a lot more to some players than others, things like that. But honestly, I'm not complaining at all. We have so many generous people, not only supporting my stream, my content, but Doof and MJ and all these other streamers. We have so much money that goes out each month to tournaments and show matches. In comparison to how many people play this game and how many people watch this game, the money that goes out is crazy. So, yeah, big shout out to all the incredibly generous sponsors in this community. But yeah, the good news is, guys, I'm getting into commercials now. If you guys haven't noticed, I got a haircut, I got a polo. I'm a professional streamer now. And the reason for that, I got paid $500 to make a 1-minute commercial. I thought for sure it was a scam. Like, I thought for sure I was being scammed. I almost deleted the email. And sure enough, I made a 1-minute commercial for a game called Warpath, hyping it up. Never played it before. And they gave me $500. I still can't kind of believe it. When they asked how much money, I'm like, $500. I was kind of messing around. They were like, done. And as I was making the commercial, I'm like, there's no way these people are going to pay me. Like, there's just no way this random, like, unknown email address from China is going to send me $500. And they literally sent me $500. So that's $500. That's $500 worth of fuel back in the rocket for RA2, man. Who knows what? I'm going to do something special with that money. We're going to have a really special Red Alert 2 event with that money. I got to do some more 1-minute commercials. If I could do a 1-minute commercial every day, now we're talking about 10 grand a month in RA2 fuel. All right, let's focus on the game. Has anything interesting happened? Sure doesn't seem like it. Sim City, 2, 4, 5, 6 war factories and the MCV cell from Legend. LATOF, 5 war factories, still has the MCV. So Legend with the MCV cell, kickstart that economy. LATOF going broke. Legend 3K in the bank. Legend preparing a little bit of a tank split here. Both players bringing a ton of dogs to the front lines. No Desos in the fight as of yet, but LATOF does have his radar. Desos could be coming. Legend, I believe, out tanking on the right side here. LATOF with the fodder advantage, though. Legend can't really decide between a split or just one big snowball here, and now Legend going broke. So Legend's line of reinforcements going to slow down a little bit. These two tanks are drunk, they get sniped. Legend needs to be careful. He's attacking uphill here. He reinforces Legend's reinforcements, or LATOF's reinforcements a bit out of position. Legend's tank's now strung out on the retreat. And Legend, a heavy fodder disadvantage here. And LATOF pumping those dogs to the front lines. Legend now on the run. He's got 6 war factories. You know, this wasn't like an MCV cell go for broke, win in the next 30 seconds or die. This can be a tactical MCV cell. He still has a big production. Obviously, he's going to need to avoid losing buildings. The MCV cell, when you're at this point, the 6 war factories, there is diminishing returns. After about 6 war factories, the build speed doesn't really increase that much. So if you're already in a good position with your refineries, it's not a terrible idea, but it does force you to not make mistakes. If you start losing buildings, obviously things are going to go south quick. LATOF does sell his MCV as well. So neither player with MCV, both players on 6 war factories. So fairly even here. Both players catching each other's tanks. And when you start driving all around these cliffs and stuff, these tanks start getting routed funny and in goofy positions. These 4 are shooting down from the cliff, actually. Kind of funny. But this is the big bundle right here, and LATOF again with a pretty significant fodder advantage. Looks like, I thought Legend was going to get a leg up there, but LATOF now reinforcing. Legend has a few tanks coming in. Oh, Legend's out tanking on this little top right split, and Legend's going to take a base trade. I think Legends won both his points today on kind of wacky all-in attacks, and he's going to go for it again. Legend over to drones now, but a lot of tanks. It's a lot of tanks for Legend. For LATOF. Legend pumping drones, LATOF pumping drones. He's going to go for the miners here. He takes out, oh, these tanks all go AFK. He's trying to shoot his, you can't try to counter the drones at that point, can you? When all of your tanks are droned, you don't shoot the drone tanks. I think you got to keep going. Not sure if it would have mattered anyway. LATOF, another one up. I haven't even hyped up the next event. So we do have, right after this, guys, we actually have a pretty fun series coming up. We got Zane, the Executioner versus Loring Loka, another pro battle. And it's actually going to be mixed factions. So it's going to be Allied, Soviet, and Yuri playing regular Yuri's Revenge. That's coming up right after this. So Zane versus Loka, a couple top-level players. And they're going to be playing Soviet, Allied, and Yuri. I know you guys like the mixed factions, so that should be pretty fun. That's coming up right after this. This is best of 9. So LATOF fighting to end it. Legend fighting to stay alive. Tough. You got to think LATOF just, what's the word for it? I mean, in lack of a more colorful term, LATOF just ahead. LATOF just been ahead pretty much all series. Pretty much all series. But we'll see. You never know. You never really know. You never know what Legend could be capable of here. Let me just confirm that Loka... Okay, Loka and Zane are confirmed. So Loka and Zane coming up right after this, and I gotta debut my my steampunk AI generated rendition of the Red Alert 2 trailer. No one's seen it yet. So right after this, I'll show you guys that, and then we'll get into the Zane Loka game. Well, maybe right after this comeback is what I mean. Right after Legend goes on he has to go on a 3-0 run right now. He has to go on a 3-0 run to take this one home. So Legend been picking all of the maps so far. I mean, well, pretty much. Yeah, the 2 wins, tough. I mean, the scoreboard, oftentimes I say the scoreboard doesn't reflect how close the series has been if it's a blowout, you know? He brings that drone home to get repaired. But today, I think the scoreboard's actually reflecting the game looking a little bit closer than it was. I mean, ultimately, both of Legend, well, the TOE win, the TOE win for Legend was he outplayed him. His other one was kind of a wacky base trade. I don't know. I guess it is. I guess it has been close. I feel like at this level in Red Alert 2, though, oftentimes when the game ends, It's like things can be close, and then things become like just like an absolute tsunami at the end, and it kind of looks like a blowout oftentimes. But it does seem like early on, it just seems like Legends gets a little bit behind and then has a hard time recovering. MCV move here from both players. LATOF back in the action. Yeah, hope to get LATOF back in some blitz as well. I think he's been playing some quick match. I mean, he's been winning. He's been playing quick match the last couple months. LATOF just has a lot of scheduling complications, so doesn't really like to play the tournaments. So I'm going to start trying to get LATOF in some more show matches, stuff like this, single day events. It's tough, man. The scheduling stuff for a lot of players does get quite tricky. I'd like to get some more. I mean, I'd really like to get more 2v2 events, but the problem is 2v2 doubles the amount of people to let you down. That's the problem. Doubles the amount of people who can have bad internet, doubles the amount of people who might not show up. Smoking drone, go home. All right, Legend, the comeback kid. Hey, here's the thing. You guys are either about to watch Legend lose, or you're about to watch an epic comeback, possibly the comeback of the year. That's easily what we could be in for here. Yeah, 2v2 is always fun. Yeah, 2v2 is always fun, but it's yeah, it's just so hard. It's just so hard to do. MJ was doing that 2v2 event for a while, but yeah, I was getting anxiety just watching him try to run that. Quite complicated, quite complicated. Any of you guys ever played Warpath, by the way? It actually kind of looked cool. When I was making the commercial, it's kind of funny, you know, like you can, you know, there's been some studies on the idea of like, you don't believe what you hear, you believe what you say. So if people watch a lecture on why you shouldn't cheat, if you put them in an environment to cheat, they're as equally as likely to cheat. Actually, some people get more likely to cheat after listening to a lecture about not cheating. However, if you make someone give a lecture on why they should not cheat, like if you're like, all right, convince me that cheating is bad. If someone gives the lecture, they're significantly less likely to then cheat immediately afterwards. So the idea being that, you know, you're more likely to believe what you hear than what you say. Big engagement here. Let's go, Legend. The comeback kid, buddy. We believe in you. He's going to go try to feast on miners. He does have a little bit of a tank advantage here. Going to try to convert the position, get some value. 1 miner, 2 miners. Needs to be careful here. Does not want to get these miners at the expense of his entire army. So now is back over to clicking down tanks. And what was that? 5 miners? He got 5 miners. See if the counter punch is going to come here. See if he can hold off. 3, 6, 7, 8 tanks coming. And Legend does have tanks to hold fodder to the front lines as well. So yeah, LATOF kind of is going to feel the pressure here. That is a massive knee chopping of a player's economy to lose those kind of miners like this at the 5-minute mark. So LATOF going to head downfield and see what he can get done. Generally speaking, you take out an opponent's army like that, you think there's going to be an opening on the backside to get some value. That might not be the case here, though. Okay, MCV now on the bottom. So wait. I lost an MCV. Holy shit, hold on. Okay, all right. So now LATOF on the top side. Okay, Legend. LATOF is a split bottom. Legend's there. Where did am I losing an MCV? So, wait, did he? Oh, he sold the MCV. There's the engineer. Okay, never mind. Legend didn't destroy that MCV though. LATOF sold the MCV. Okay. So a huge difference in philosophy here. Oh, these tanks can maybe shoot down from the cliff. LATOF selling that. Yeah, so LATOF selling that MCV. Legend now on a 3rd expansion. So Legend can definitely afford to play defensive here. Not only is LATOF down that MCV, but he also lost 5 miners. So Legend now can play defense, force LATOF to come in. Legend's going to clean up on this top side. Legend has plenty of tanks to hold on the bottom side. Sentry gun on the cliff to pull aggro so the tanks can get up the edge. Nice play there. LATOF's army's going down. Tough position here for LATOF. I mean, LATOF still has money in the bank, but he had a lot of miners to lose that many and still be producing. But yeah, it's yeah, tough. I mean, yeah, it's tough. Wait, now there's 2 stars out there. Wait, now there's 2 stars? Who got that one? Gibellock got it? No way. There's 90 people in here. I was totally kidding. I didn't think he had a chance. Gibellock OP, Gibellock and Deadman. Wow. That is hilarious. Those star catches do get you crowd game points. End of each month, we do have a lottery. You might win $20. Hey, you stick around. You know what, Gibellock? You keep catching stars with this level of tenacity and focus. I think there could be a spot for you in the pro division of star catching. Wow. Deadman. Hey, Deadman, to you too, man. Well played. Minka, you're a cheater. You've played too many times. We got to nerf Minka. MJ, make it so Minka can't jump so high. All right, guys, this is it. Hey, there's a reason we call Legend the comeback kid. It is 4-3. It is match point. If LATOF can win this, Legend fighting to stay alive. If he wins this, we're burning barns, and it'd be a wacky barn to burn because I swear LATOF is Legend's outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, outplanned. So it seems, but the scoreboard, it does show otherwise. Yeah, what was I saying? I was using some wacky metaphor to kill time, and then something interesting happened. We were talking about, oh yeah, the fact that you believe what you say instead of what you hear. For example, yeah, like I said, if you give a lecture on why you shouldn't cheat, you're more likely to not cheat versus hearing a lecture. So Warpath, the funny, Mud Farm gifting a sub. MJ, you're a sub now. MJ, use emotes. MJ, drop this emote on everybody. You can hit people with the GG easy no re. Anyway, the point is, in the process of making the 1-minute hype video for this game called Warpath, when I first watched it, I'm like, this game doesn't look very cool. And then in the process of making the hype video, I had to, I did like 30 takes, right? So I kept saying, everyone's favorite RTS game, the ultimate RTS game. What I love about this game, I kept saying stuff like that. By the end of it, I'm like, damn, I want to play some Warpath. Like, that game's sick. But, that's what happens when you tell yourself 30 times that you love something. So anyway, yeah, I'm a big Warpath fan now, even though I've actually never played it. The game actually looks kind of cool, though. You guys know me. I'm Red Alert 2, Ride or Die, though. Drone in. Early MCV move, so a little different here. Legend with an early MCV move. LATOF gonna build down the cliff. This is an interesting map. I'm a big fan of this map. Other than the anomaly of the water running down and the island not flooding, which we've discussed before. But yeah, I'm over it. I'm over it. If we all play it, that's a good question. Yeah, every time you ban someone, GG easy no re. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually, like I said, I'm still a little bit confused about it, but like I said, man, if I can make 1-minute videos and get paid, I mean, we could get we can get some crazy stuff going, man. If I start getting money for 1-minute videos, get some crazy stuff going. The big goal is we're gonna redo the artwork for every single building. We're gonna increase the graphics of every single building and every single unit. The exact same game, but we're gonna increase the graphics of every single building, every single unit. It's a particularly unadvisable endeavor because we don't own the game, so we can't charge money. Like, we can't make Red Alert 2 remastered and charge people. We can only let people play for free. So if we put $10,000 into that and we do remaster the game, well, we can't make money. There's no way to make the money back. And in business, generally speaking, yeah, anyway, to not make money is generally not a good investment. All right, Legend putting the pressure on. Legend's on the edge of his seat. I'm up here like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I gave up on Legend, but Legend's about to prove me wrong. He's on multiple levels right now. LATOF's on his heels. Look at LATOF's, all of LATOF's miners are befuddled. Legend takes a bite on the top side. He takes a bite on the bottom side. Throwing 7 different kinds of smoke. 3 tanks right into a sentry gun. Now into the miners. He's going for the miners. LATOF has to move the miners. Legend uncontested on the top side. Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys. Give us that match point. We got barns to burn. Legend on the top side. Perfect sentry gun. Or Legend, perfect sentry gun from LATOF, rather. This group a little bit outgunned here. Legend's reinforcements late to the party, but they all come in now, converging on that bottom position. Legend now in that sentry gun zone. Two rhinos do stay alive. That pulls LATOF's attention for a second here. Big economy. Oh my God, Legend's on 20K. Legend's on 20K. MJ, why didn't you tell me Legend's on 20K? Legend's sitting in the chat. MJ sitting in the chat doesn't tell me that Legend's got 20K in the bank. MJ, we need a button. We need a special button you can smash whenever someone gets 20K. And then it pops up on the screen and tells me, Legend hungry. Legend hungry. LATOF over to drones. Defensive drones from LATOF. What can Legend get done here? You gotta think the pro move is to go at the miners, right? But he's gonna try to click down the tanks first. Doesn't want to get counterpunched. This entire army is now droned. But Legend's gotta have another group of tanks coming. As I say that, Oh, Legend. Oh, sorry. LATOF had a backside split. Legends still has the MCV there. Legend back in. Oh, Legend gonna get heavily droned here. LATOF now gonna try to counter punch a little bit. He's got drones to deal with Legend's attacks at the moment. I don't. Legends on 17K. LATOF's on 200. LATOF's bottoming out. Legends on 17K. LATOF has to sell the MCV, boys. We're gonna burn barns. It took a long time to get here. This was not the direct route to burn a barn. You know you're in a bad way when you start having to repair your drones. When the defensive measures come down to repairing drones, that's like the real life equivalent of like duct taping a gun together, basically. Legend pumping fodder. He's got 11K. LATOF, the Deso King, no MCV and no radar. So with no Desos in this fight, good time to pump the fodder. Only a couple drones, and LATOF is back over to rhinos. I mean, obviously you can't win with drones. You can only slow down the bleeding. And Legend just does not want to throw this position. Yeah, that's the problem. No, it's yeah. If we did our own remaster, by the time it's done, there would be an official one that would come out. That'd be so funny. Like I round up $10,000 in $5 Twitch subs, remaster the game, and then all of a sudden Red Alert 2 is like, oh hey, by the way, remaster coming out next week. Throws the dogs out in front, tanks coming in, and LATOF. So I like this from LATOF. He's still looking to be offensive. You can't just play defense here. You're down in MCV. So I don't think this is going to work. You got to think Legend's going to win this game. But I love this awareness from LATOF that he's still trying to split, still trying to get offensive. And that's the difference between that separates a good player from a great player is that idea of even when you're in defensive mode, you still have your eyes downfield. You're trying to make things happen. Again, it's not going to work here, presumably. But I like that. I like that idea from LATOF. So now Legend gonna hop up, gonna go for the miners. Miners. In these positions, when in doubt, click down miners. When in doubt, click down miners. Deadman, wait, Deadman, did I thank you for this? Oh, Deadman, you just subbed. Thanks for the sub, buddy, appreciate it. Money in, money in, money in. All right. Miners going down. Miners going. I don't know how we got here, boys. I do not know how we got here today. I feel like I gave up and started talking about metaphors like 3 hours ago. We're burning barns? Oh my God, what a barn burner, boys. All right, boys, here we are. I don't know how we got here, but we're burning barns. It's match point. Best of 9. It's 4-4. Winner's taking home 40 bucks. Just like that. Easy money. Well, not easy money. These guys have been busting ass. Like I said, it certainly felt like Legend's been outgunned, outnumbered, outmanned, outplanned, but there's a reason we call him the God of Thunder. He made it happen. He scrapped himself together. 4 wins in this series, and to get a match point best of 9. Now, that's what we're here for, boys. That's what we live for. And what a map to end on. I love this map. So the pre-captured tech in the corners. So both players start. You just start with tech behind you as well. And I love maps with pre-captured tech in the corners. It changes up your openings. You know, we've seen a lot of maps today without pre-captured tech. You know, the openings are all very similar, which is fine. You know, we still get exciting mid-late games, but I think the pre-captured corners, being able to apply pressure in different spots, I think kind of diversifies your opening portfolio, both offensively, defensively, and build order wise, which is always fun. And again, guys, we've been talking a lot about donation stuff today. Big shout out again to Mud Farm in memory of his friend Bane. Big fan of Red Alert 2. I just pushed the wrong button. Yeah, Mud Farm gave some nice generous donations to help me get some fuel in the rocket, get some more games going. So big shout out to Mud Farm. And all the other subs. We've had a lot of subs today. Honestly, a lot of donations, a lot of sponsors every month. I started a Patreon page, Patreon as well, PayPal. I mean, I'm trying to make any way anyone wants to support. We have all the ways, but I feel like I haven't talked about that a lot today. Honestly, we have so many generous people. I'm not trying to money grub or anything like that. Like with whatever money comes in, we're going to be able to make Red Alert 2 content. I just try to make it clear to people that it's like, the money's going back. Like any money that does come in does directly go back to the players. So just if you guys do want, just to keep that part in mind. I don't want people. Someone said that once in the Discord. They're like, "Yeah, Ivor's the real like trickster. He's making all this money." I'm like, "No, I'm losing money. Let's be perfectly clear about that." It's all about RA2 the Moon Boys. That's the priority around here. So match point. I'm like. I just still, again, don't know how Legend got here. After that Elite Conscript, picking up 2 Battle Labs, an Iron Curtain, and an Oil, I thought it was all downhill for the God of Thunder, but making it happen. A couple scrappy last couple of points with MCV cells, fun stuff like that. You love to see it. Okay, so LATOF not off his corner oil. Legend, this is a little odd. I feel like there's this patch of gems here. Okay, now he gets off that. Seems a little, oh, War Factory. I feel like there should be a refinery here earlier on. Maybe maybe Yuri's Revenge versus RA2, that's a little bit different. Although, obviously, Legend did it. Yeah, a bit surprised to see that. Yes, MJ, people do. It was Blazer. Blazer was the one who accused me of getting rich at the expense of the players, like I was using them. Yeah, it cracked me up. I was like, dude, he's like, yeah, look at his YouTube. I'm like, dude, you clearly don't know how YouTube works. I make like $2 per YouTube video. But that'll all change, like I said, with the Red Bull sponsorship. Hey, we're getting more viewers every day, boys. We're getting more viewers every day. RA2 the Moon is going to happen. Slowly but surely. All right, Legend gonna put some pressure on this bottom right expansion. LATOF matching perfectly. No splits at the moment. I'm liking Legend's build a little bit more here. 4 War Factories. LATOF on 3 War Factories. Both players money in the bank, but Legend with a War Factory advantage and a financial advantage. You gotta like that. Both players off their back expansions. Yeah, so again, one of those maps too where, we've talked about that early on, some of those small maps, Legend was picking them, but you saw the Desolators being so much more viable, and ultimately, if you look at these, if you wanted to have an equation here, it would be Desos in the game and Legend's likelihood of winning. And on maps like this, it's just that much harder to use Desos. The lanes are so much bigger, the map's so much bigger, it's hard to use them to zone things out, block things off. Those early games on those smaller maps definitely proved to be in LATOF's favor thanks to those Desos largely. I think the God of Thunder's taking this one home. I mean, he's riding the momentum into the finals, which definitely matters, right? I mean, you definitely feel that. Like if you feel like you've thrown a couple games or if you're blowing a lead, that kind of frustration definitely carries over. Although I think you're more likely to see that at the lower levels. These, if you're in the top 5, players like LATOF and Legend and Kian, Marco, Quas, you really can't be much of an emotional person. You're usually pretty cold-blooded. You're kind of able to zone that kind of stuff out. So now Desolator, so LATOF is going to get some Desos in the fight now. And Desos in the fight. So this really changes how Legend's got to play this now. But LATOF has a lot of his own fodder, so he doesn't really want to use those Desos yet. See if, and Legend's fodder going down here. Let's see if he can try to use these Desos. Big Mosh here easily could be a game-deciding battle. No backside splits at the moment. Legend's army going down, but not severely, and it's quite a few tanks up. Legend now rallying back to get a defensive force together. Big map like this too, you don't pay as quickly for losing an army. The counterpunch comes that much slower, so you do generally have a bit more time. And of course, on a big map like this, the defensive advantage, your tanks from the War Factory to the front line when defending is a huge advantage versus the attacker who has to trek across the entire tundra to get into the action. Iron Curtain now, bottom right expansion for LATOF. So LATOF over to tech here and double nuclear reactor. Doesn't want to get caught with from a backside split. Double nuclear reactor I think is good if you have the time for it and you have the APM to pull it off without too much of a high cost. A little bit of a split here from LATOF. Legend matching though. Legend still hanging and banging. That first big engagement definitely going in LATOF's favor, and LATOF now over to Battle Lab Tech is tricky as Legend starting to go broke. 2, 3, 6 War Factories. 6 war factories. Yeah, Legend now bottom right. So this Iron Curtain, almost a little bit of a bait from LATOF to put your super weapon in a corner expansion like that, almost daring the opponent to try to come at it. But LATOF right there, and I like that. The barracks and the war factory to reinforce that position quickly. Ooh, okay, so Legend able to find a little opening here. Clicks down 1 miner. Now goes on the top side, and LATOF matches that split almost perfectly there, but Legend takes out 3-4 miners, so now Legend wants to be careful here. Doesn't want to lose this entire army. Legend just got Value Town on those miners, though, but the Iron Curtain is coming. Iron Curtain's coming. Legend 7k in the bank, and he's on a lot of war factories. So the rhinos are essentially materializing at this point. Oh, backside split from LATOF. This is a scary amount of rhinos. This amount of rhinos will melt buildings. And Legend's not here at all right now. LATOF goes right past the MCV. Pro move. You don't need the MCV. If your opponent doesn't have war factories, what's he gonna do with an MCV? Iron Curtain in the open field. And missed that. Probably did. Looks like he did take out a decent amount of Legend's tanks there. Legend now over to drones. LATOF ignores the MCV, feasting on miners, picks up a couple war factories. Legend's still scrambling to deal with this expansion. These guys are uncontested. There's now an elite in this group, and Legend way too slow to deal with that split. You can't blame him. He was dealing with the major engagement on the left side, and with LATOF's Iron Curtain advantage, he really couldn't afford to leave that army alone for even a second. Legend still has his MCV, but he took some heavy losses there. He is now just absolutely bleeding out, and there's another Iron Curtain coming here before he can get his feet underneath, and that Iron Curtain's gonna be back at it. But LATOF here, not to just win, but to make a point, and he could easily sit back here, wait for the Iron Curtain, but he's gonna go right in. Blood in the water. LATOF with something to prove. He's hungry. Legend still has the MCV, but yeah, and Legend's gonna be looking for a base trade here, but LATOF by this time in the series, he's been wised up. Legend calls GG's. LATOF does take it home, and yeah, well, hey, it was yeah, Legend went down swinging.
Oni, tak сказать, oni was